More and more laptops are built with non-upgradable internal storage, and the price for getting a bigger SSD straight from the factory can be insanely high. In today's video, I will be showing you a 3 times cheaper DIY solution, where the only DIY action takes you less than 30 seconds and is completely tool-free. And if you're looking for fast external storage to quickly move data between your computers or even your phones, this solution suits you too. Straight from the People's Republic of China. Ugreen NVMe SSD Enclosure. Is this any good? Let's find out. It has 10 gigabits per second bandwidth, sleek design, and metal frame. It supports NVMe SSDs up to 2 TB, does not require any tools for installation, and most important, it costs less than $20. Inside the box you'll find Type-C to Type-C cable, replacement SSD screw, and the enclosure itself with one more screw inside. If you're ordering the enclosure from China, there is an option to pick additional Type-A to Type-C cable. I'm using this enclosure with SK Hynix P31 Gold 1 TB NVMe SSD. I bought it half a year ago, the price was around $115, now the price has went up. Anyway, it's still possible to find the sweet spot for 1 TB NVMe SSD drive at around $90 to $120. 2 TB SSDs will start at around $190. I'll put links to everything mentioned in the video in the description down below. Quick note, there are options of these enclosures made for SATA drives, and I would recommend not going for it unless you have that SATA drive laying around. Reason is simple, SATA drives have almost the same price but have much lower speed. There are enclosures that support SATA and NVMe drives, but their price is almost double. And if you need to use both types of SSDs, just get 2 enclosures. One for SATA drives and one for NVMe's. Before moving on to extensive tests and benchmarks, let's discuss alternatives. Sure, the easiest way to go is just order bigger SSD straight from the factory. It will generally be faster than any external solution, but that comes with a bigger price tag. For example, Apple charges $360 for upgrading M1 MacBook Air to 1 TB SSD and $720 for 2 TB upgrade. And if you're picking M1 MacBook Pro, those upgrades become $20 more expensive, probably for that Pro in the name. Or you can opt for pre-made portable SSDs, for example SanDisk Extreme Portable SSD or Samsung T7 Portable SSD. But there are a couple of downsides in this case. They will cost a bit more than buying a drive and enclosure separately, and you obviously can't change the drive inside. If it fails for any reason, there will be no option to replace the SSD. External hard disk drives provide 5 times more space for the price, but are less resistant to physical damage as they have moving parts inside. They also drain a bit more power, but the main disadvantage is speed, which is way slower. I'm planning on making a detailed comparison between portable hard disk drives and solid-state drives, so subscribe to the channel to stay tuned. SSD is pretty easy to install. Press the button on the top and gently slide the SSD compartment. Take out the SSD screw which is already installed. After that, push your SSD to the slot at around 30 degrees. Take the screw which you have previously removed. Match the cutouts on the screw and the SSD and slide the screw in. Next step is to push the screw down until you hear a click. Slide back the SSD compartment into the casing in the direction shown by the arrow on the case. And that's it for the DIY part. Connect the cable and you're ready to go. And now let's move on to benchmarks. First, let's check how SK Hynix SSD performs when installed into the M2 slot of the motherboard. For this purpose, I used my Acer Nitro 5 laptop, which I have reviewed here on the channel. As you can see, the SSD from Hynix is blazing fast. It actually outperforms the SSD that is installed in my MacBook Air from the factory. Next, I reformatted the drive to AXFAT and have run tests again. As expected, changing file system type didn't lead to massive difference in results. Let's continue with the enclosure tests. First, I have connected it with a Type-C to Type-C cable to my MacBook Air and ran some tests. In this scenario, SSD performance drops almost 5 times comparing to when it's installed in M.2 slot. Still, these speeds are great and are even faster when comparing to cheap 2.5-inch SSDs. I tried using ATTO disk benchmark, but it has shown some strange results. According to this benchmark, Ugreen NVMe SSD Enclosure has outperformed the maximum bandwidth of Type-C port located on M1 MacBook Air. In the next set of tests, I connected the NVMe SSD Enclosure via Type-A cable. I used Ugreen USB Type-C hub in order to achieve that with my MacBook Air, which only has Type-C ports. USB 3.0 is definitely a bottleneck here, which results in a significant speed drop. To summarize, you can go with the cheaper NVMe drives for this enclosure, as their read and write speeds will be enough not to become a bottleneck. I also tested this enclosure with my Android phone, which is Samsung Note 20, and I have run into no issues. One thing to note though, if you want to use NTFS formatted or EXFAT formatted drive on Android, you will have to install additional driver, like the one from Paragon. It is not free, but it's not expensive and it's a one-time payment. As you have seen, this portable NVMe SSD inside Ugreen Enclosure is fast enough to fully replace that internal storage upgrade without any noticeable loss in speed for any day-to-day activities. If you're planning on using external SSDs for both Windows and macOS, I will be publishing in-depth comparison of different solutions to macOS NTFS write issue. Thanks for watching this video up until its end. If it was useful, hit that like button and see you in the next videos.